Colburn Bible, Book 2, Chapter 10. Thoughts on the lack of value on a girl child from the past. 10:16 talks about a man who was unable to feed his newborn child, who was a girl, and he decided to bury her alive because he couldn't afford to feed her. So Herminator intervenes and takes the child to Enchetti to raise. GLN 10:16. One day, Herminator was going about the encampment, and he came upon a man burying his newly born daughter, and Herminator was wrathful at the man for such a deed. It was an abomination performed by the sand wanderers and the wild men who dwelt in the wilderness. Taking the child, Herminator brought it to the wife of Enchetti, who saved it, so it lived. It was named Mahat, meaning pure of heart, but because of the sand which had filled her eyes, she was blind. Strangers near his encampment became angered because of this and demanded the father be compensated for the injury, as in order to get the child away, he had to hit the father. GLN 10:17. The strangers about the encampment became enraged against Herminator because of what he had done. Also, because he had struck the father of the child, so he bled. They demanded that the blood be requited. They said, "This is an unjust deed, for he who buries a daughter because he lacks sustenance for her does no wrong in our eyes. Is it not better that she be buried in the ground out of sight than kept with disgrace? Is it not for the father to decide whether a daughter should live? Has a woman a soul of her own? Is she not no more than the maker of the body, while the soul is given into her keeping by man?" Herminator, having the bigger group, nevertheless decides to pay one piece of silver and a calf ready for slaughter. And so the child, who is now called Mahat, comes to live with Enchetti. GLN 10:18. The strangers about the encampment were not so many, while those with Herminator were many and strong. But he dealt justly with those claiming payment for the blood. They were given a piece of silver and a calf that was ready for the slaughter. Thus, Mahat came into the household of Enchetti. Herminator advises Enchetti that they should leave, and that already there is a restlessness among the people there. First, they say the child has no soul because it's a woman, which I cannot even possibly imagine how, if it's born the same way as a man, how could it be born without a soul? But that's what they seem to believe. On top of that, they are mad not at the man who tried to bury his own child alive, but they're mad at Herminator, who stops the man from committing murder of his own child, a baby, and takes it home. And because of that, they demand he pay reparations to the man who would bury his own child. That seems entirely barbaric to me, and yet they seem to believe that it is far better that the child be buried alive than for the father to be embarrassed because he can't feed his own family. This is wrong.